Ashley, what were you like when you guys first started dating? This was one of the questions Dominic came up with last night. I want you to ask Ashley this.
Well, I know I was young.
Were you like 21, 22?
22. Yeah, 22.
It was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So Dominic was 47?
Yeah.
48?
Yeah, 47. I think 47.
I was
47.
young.
I had a lot of concerns when we first started dating. Like normally I tell my mom everything. And I didn't tell her for a little while. And then I came home and told her. So I started dating my boss.
Dip in the pen and Company Inc.
And our ages are obviously, we're 25 years apart. And so there was a part of me that I cared about what others thought too much. And still to this day, I care too much about what others think, but less so now than before. But I had to go through that as well as caring about what others thought. And is this the right relationship for me? I questioned all the time. And yeah. I was just lots of concerns when we first started dating, and he always shared with everyone that I was very hot and cold. You didn't know if I was coming or going, and it was true because I didn't know whether I was coming or going.
I remember those days too, because Dominic and I had a lot of conversations back then.
I was on the phone with Corey quite a bit.
Yeah.
I was like, Corey, I don't know what the hell's going on. She was over here yesterday, and we were together, and we had fun all day, and then now it's like cold turkey, and then she's just not warming up at all. Like, what happened from one day to the next?
Yeah, and I had just
Totally
started
normal.
working for you too, so I hadn't even gotten worked on much either.
Yeah.
I had a lot of my emotions were all over the place and ruled me. I was a fixer-upper, like you said once. I didn't like it
project?
when he...
You were a bit of a project?
Okay, I didn't like it when he said that
I may
at the
have
time.
said that, but
he
that
did
was...
say it when we first started dating. He's like, "Oh, you're a fixer-upper." He was kind of saying it jokingly, but
there's a lot of truth in
that's
jest.
one of the things that hit hard, and it was true. I was definitely a fixer-upper. I was all over the place.
I wouldn't say that.
In
You were
many
22,
aspects of
so
my
you didn't,
life.
it's not like you had extensive life experience in relationships.
Yeah, and I was just all over the place, and
I was actually your first real relationship, where we dated and went out and
because my other relationships, the longest was 3 months. I hadn't been in a long-term relationship. Yeah.
You friend zoned a lot of guys?
I did, actually. Yeah.
You were a love taker and a heartbreaker.
She's tough to read. Really inconsistent.
Yeah.
That's feminine energy, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate that now. The epitome of
It's like the cat analogy. Women are so like cats. Cats are finicky and fickle and into you 1 minute, wanting to sit in your lap and purr away, and the next minute they're like, "Hey, fuck you! I'm gonna go roam the neighborhood. See you later."
That's how Boo is.
Doesn't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Don't take it. Has nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I was when we first started dating.
It's like getting mad at the weather, which I still get irritated. Like, it's been raining almost every day for the past month and a half. I like nice sunny weather.
I was raining a lot when we first started dating.
Stormy seas.
Mm-hmm.
Now I appreciate it because I see how the more present I could be for Ashley, the more she could express whatever she needs to express.
You were also going through a lot when we first started dating too.
Yeah, I wasn't even divorced yet. I
No,
just got separated a few months before.
Well, I remember coming into your office and I was laying down on the table and I hadn't seen you in, I don't know, 6 months or whatever. I was back in Orlando. And you were just very matter-of-factly, "Oh, my wife and I aren't together anymore." I was like, and I looked over, I was like, "What?" That was the last thing I expected to hear from you.
We were already dating at that point.
And then and I had met you and I was like, "Wow, she's really cute." And then I think we went to dinner that night, and then you were like, well, Ashley and I, we were doing some yoga in the office, and one thing led to another, and something popped up, and
something popped up.
I was like, that's cool. Because it was like literally weeks after you had finally said, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Well, because he said he moved out in July, right? Beginning of July, right before the 4th
July
of July.
1st, I had tenants move out of a property that I own, a rental property, June 30th. And I literally was moving in as they were moving out. I had been planning for 4 months before that. I can't wait to get out of the house.
Elvis had left the building already.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I was sleeping upstairs in the guest bedroom for probably at least 9 months before that point. So it was, yeah. I thought
it was longer than 9 months.
It was probably a year. It could have been more, over a year. I don't remember the exact date, but it was okay, around a year.
Because I was living in South Beach, and you and your wife had just come down to visit. I think 4 or 5 months before, and we had hung out, and I was like, and then after you told me everything that had been going on, I was like, dude, why didn't you say something? And do you remember what you said to me?
No, I don't.
You were like, well, you don't want to admit to your friend that you're being a bitch in your marriage, or being a bitch to your wife. I think that was your comment along those lines.
Yeah, I was super triggered, reactive, volatile, condescending. Yeah, I didn't handle things well at all. So I was definitely motivated, and it was mutual. Like I was a jerk to her, she was a jerk right back, and there was a lot of things involved with that. I mean, it would be a whole podcast on itself. Mm-hmm. But basically, at the end of the day, I'm responsible for how I showed up, and I take total responsibility for how I showed up. And it was so painful to go through that I wanted to make sure that I got the gift in that, and I got whatever learning and wisdom I can get out of that, so that I don't ever have to experience that again. So I was definitely motivated. So I read the books, I got the coaching, I did the work, and
yeah, that was the first time you actually went through my book.
It was, yeah. Yeah, but so he moved out at the beginning of July, and then our first date was September 3rd. So
a couple months in between.
Yeah.
First official date, but there was something going on. Well, let me think. I can't remember when you had just moved out?
He moved out in the beginning of July, and then I started working for him like mid-August. Well, but he didn't like me when I started working for him.
I didn't even want to hire Ashley.
He didn't like me.
No, I thought she had attitude. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't need that BS. I like easygoing people.
But he was desperate.
Yeah, I needed somebody. And then Kwon kept saying, no, I'm telling you, she's going to be perfect for the job. She's going to be perfect. I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling it. And he's like, she's going to be great. I'm telling you. And I said, okay, well, I'll give it a try. Just, we'll see what happens. And then I was at your yoga class. And
he was the only one that showed up.
I was the only one that showed up. Day. And we ended up talking for hours after. Yeah. And then I said, let's go get some food. So we went out on a date.
We went to Luma.
And that was our first date on Park Avenue.
So it was pretty much the first day he actually liked me.
And something just clicked for me, where I went from not liking her at all
to loving me.
To I saw a different perspective. And realized that actually she's a soul, and she's an amazing, amazing human being with tremendous depth.
And she looked good in yoga pants.
Probably that.
Yeah, but that's not enough for me. I want to know that not only does someone look good, but they have character, they have a personality, they have something to say. They're a sweet person, they're a kind person, and I saw all that and more. And I was like, wow, that was.
Yeah, we were talking about spirituality and spiritual development that night too, so it's just kind of
everything just
talking
clicked.
About good stuff.
Because I've been in practice, I've been in practice 21 years, and I've had beautiful women work for me before, off limits, never at any time flirted, none of that stuff. I just kept everything super professional for me and for them. I didn't want any weirdness. That's where I work. Just leave it at that. Ashley's the only person that has ever worked for me that
exception.
I just remember when I met her, it was like right after you guys had started hooking up.
Yeah, it was right after.
Yeah, there was a lot of chemistry too. Like, we just clicked.
Yeah,
we got along amazing.
Yep. other than my hot and coldness.
So what was Dominick like when he wasn't showing up? What was the old, I guess that would be Dominick 1.0?
1.0.
What was Dominick 1.0 like when you guys
Um,
first started dating?
Well, when we first started dating, he was still going through some wounds of his past relationship because
There was a lot of drama.
Yeah, there was a lot. And he would get you actually got mad at me quite a bit. And now I would say
He was very perturbable.
it wasn't even that
perturbed?
he was perturbed. Like he now doesn't really get upset with me about really much at all. But when we first started dating, he did get upset. Now he only gets upset with me if I get upset with him. That's kind of how it's going here lately. Or at least that's what I see. But you used to get upset with me just like...
What does that mean? He get upset? He get angry?
He would get triggered by something.
So, because like Dominick, when he gets mad, his upper lip goes up here and he's like...
But it was wounding because it was like... I don't know if this is too much to share, but there was one night when my stomach hurt. And so I just kind of curled up on my own on the bed when we went to sleep, and I didn't cuddle with him. And that triggered him because that was like...
He took it as a rejection?
Yeah.
Did you get me making the face, Chunky? Or were you sleeping on that?
Okay. So there was just some like wounding with that he was going through when we first started dating, which was fine because that's where he was. He had just left. And then he was going through the divorce process, which was
not pleasant at all.
Not pleasant.
Yeah, that was really painful. That whole year of my life was really painful because there was a lot of drama.
Yeah.
With the ex.
Yeah, a lot of drama.
She didn't like it that I met someone already who was...
She didn't want me around the kids. Yeah. Like I wasn't... Yeah.
There was a lot of drama.
There was a lot of drama
coming from that direction.
And she was really angry too at that time. So there's just so much drama. And that's like... It really, our relationship is split up into like 1.0 and 2.0 because it was just... You were at a completely different place in your life going through a divorce, like...
But so if Corey's asking what was I like, I would say I was easily triggered, emotional charge.
You were angry more often.
So when he got angry, would he yell at you, or he would just say something condescending and be a dick, or?
He would.
I would definitely say I was condescending and I'd be a dick. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd also just pull away from me more and ignore me, is how it felt to me.
Yeah, I would
like
withdraw
you wouldn't talk
love.
To me. Yeah.
That's great for a relationship, by the way. In your relationship, withdrawing love. It was horrible.
It wasn't fun.
No.
It wasn't fun.
You're a big meanie.
Big meanie.
I was a big meanie. I was wounded. I was hurt.
You were going through so much. Like, looking back, like, I totally understand. And you actually did pretty well for what you're going through.
And going through that, being hurt, being wounded, I'm not making it as an excuse. It's not. I'm still responsible for how I showed up. But becoming more and more aware of it, and becoming more and more aware that just because you have a good excuse doesn't mean that bullshit's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because you have a good excuse for why you're emotionally charged, there's no excuse for emotional charge coming from a man. There just isn't. At the end of the day, you're responsible for it. So express it, feel it, express it, and move on. So I went from being triggered, emotionally charged, condescending at times. I would withdraw at times, and now
withhold love
and attention. Yes. It's painful to say that.
He also used
You're triggered by it again, huh?
Well, instead of being triggered, I feel that
it's like this looking at the scar,
almost like a sadness, but at the same time gratitude, because I realized the pain that I caused on Ashley for showing up that way, and I'm grateful for that experience because I learned from it, and I find it motivating how much I've changed since then. And that if I could change, anybody can change. And where we're at now is a result because we both put the work in. Mostly me putting the work in.
We're also really strong mirrors of each other.
Yeah, you guys are also
So-
very sweet and affectionate towards one another. You're always touching each other.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, because I coach a lot of people in professional sports on and off over the years, is that teams that where you notice the players in the sidelines or even out in the court or the field, teams that do really well, championship teams, they touch each other a lot. They interact with one another. They look kind of like a family, like a unit.
They're a team.
Teams where people are arguing and they're just distant from one another and they don't touch each other or hug each other or high five, it's like the team does horrible.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, if you're connected, you're on the same page. If you're not connected, yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. He used to break up with me a lot too. Kick me out.
Drama queen.
Oh my God, I was all over the place. It was hot and cold for both of us. But
Yeah, we're
So what would he say when you break up? I don't want to
see.
see you anymore, or I just want to be. We try to friend zone you. What was him breaking up? So it was
different every time.
Was it punitive to punish her? Well, I'm just gonna with withholding love.
Yeah, it would be withholding love first for a while, and then eventually, like, I would ask or like push him to like get closer to me, and then he'd say, "No, we're breaking up."
Yeah, there was a part of me that was projecting what I felt in the previous marriage.
So you were reacting to your ex-wife and not necessarily to her.
I would just withdraw. I'm like, yeah, why should I put energy in this? This is just bullshit anyway. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and I would say
so why go through that kind of pain? I'm like, hey, we're not clicking. I'm out. So
Yeah.
I would withdraw quickly and easily. It didn't take much to get me to withdraw.
Yeah, and in our relationship 1.0, I definitely felt like you were putting a lot less energy into our relationship than you do now.
I went into it with the almost the perspective that if it works, great. If it doesn't, then I'll just walk away.
Yeah, so it was.
Why put my energy into something that's
didn't have a strong
that
foundation.
has no future? But now I realize the only way is if it's going to work is if you commit to it. You claim this is my woman, and we're gonna make it work, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. That has a totally different energy for
Totally
Ashley.
different. Yeah.
When I say I'm not going anywhere, I'm here. We're gonna make this work, and I take responsibility, and I'm gonna do all the work on my end, and I take responsibility for every bit of it. It's like, when you land, you burn the boats.
Now he calls me MIT.
Yeah, the soldiers show up different if they know that there's no retreating. You got to make it work.
Yeah.
Which is where we're at now.
Yeah.
And have been. And so far, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just getting better.
Yeah.